All right,
Okay.
we're back.
We're back, guys. This sucks. Live videos. Technology. Okay, so I assume people will start watching again momentarily, which will be super fun. So welcome everybody who is just going to join us again for the second time. We're with Lindsey and Riley
Considering
Newman.
the third time.
Third time, fourth. Who's to say? Who knows when it cut out? Who knows when it came back? Nobody knows. So basically, we just started chatting with you guys, so people didn't really miss anything. We're just talking about that you have a gigantic family, and you're super competitive, and you competed for everything. So basically, my spin-off of that was, it was funny because I was kind of, reading different stuff about you guys and looking into things, and obviously I think your dad was big into coaching and stuff when you guys were younger, so I think he probably was like the awesome sportsy person that kind of like got you guys into stuff. But did any of the siblings at any point were they like, hey, I don't think I want to do this sports thing, like I'm gonna go into like gymnastics, or like I just want to write poetry, or anything that was like not sports related? Or was that just like they wouldn't even dream of it?
Honestly, like poetry and reading books, anything school related, definitely not a Newman forte. Like our parents, like you said, our dad coached us all the time. Like he was our main coach in like Little League and like Parks and Rec basketball in second grade and all that stuff. And he was really, really competitive. And then we had our mom, who was like the typical mom in the bleachers that would like freak out and yell and cheer really loud.
But also bring orange slices.
But she was she was like the team mom of every team we had.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, like not playing sports was like never an option. It was sports or nothing. Like sports or get out of the family sort of thing.
Yeah. And my dad was so competitive. I remember once in a junior tennis tournament, I was I'm in 8th grade, and I lost this match that the whole family thought I should have won. And my dad, this is where we get our competitiveness from, our dad. He made us go without eating the rest of the night because I lost that match. So we had no
The
dinner.
whole family?
We went into a Pizza Hut to get saltine crackers, and that's what we had for dinner. So competitiveness we get it from our dad, for sure.
I don't know if that's just competitiveness you get from your dad. My goodness. He was not messing around.
Intense.
No, he was very intense. That was in Yakima. So we were there for a tournament, and we drove all the way back, 3 or 4 hour drive with nothing to eat because he was so mad about how Riley performed that day.
Starving.
Surprised he didn't make you run home, walk home. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your week of...
Yeah.
We'll see you in a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty intense.
So growing up, what sports did you guys play?
I mean, we know all of them, but
We know
like
all
specifically,
of them, but specifically.
mostly.
Yeah, I think we focused mainly, or at least I focused on baseball, basketball, and tennis. I played junior college basketball and tennis, and then I just went and played tennis at Seattle University for my last 2 years at 4-year. But it was basically baseball, basketball, and tennis for me.
Yeah, and then I did softball, soccer, volleyball, basketball, and tennis. Those were like my main sports. And then like Riley, I went to Skagit Valley College, which was a community college, and played tennis and basketball, and then got recruited to play at Seattle University for 2 years on their tennis team.
So what's it kind of like growing up in the Seattle area? We have never been to the Pacific Northwest, so we're kind of curious.
Well, if you like rain.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's cloudy like 70% of the year or something like that.
It is depressing, honestly. It's rainy and cloudy and dark about 80% of the time, and then in the summer is when you really hit the jackpot because it's like 70s, 80, blue skies, really pretty green trees, just the perfect temperature in the summer. But any other time, we do not suggest going to Washington.
Right.
So it was, you got a question, Laura?
Well, I was going to say, you guys didn't grow up in Seattle. You grew up kind of like just north of the city, right, on an island.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, Whidbey Island is about 30 minutes north of Seattle, and then you would take a ferry ride about 15 minutes to get to the island, and then we're about 10 minutes off the ferry. So Seattle's where we'd always go for sporting activities and tournaments growing up. So very close.
And so I was just sort of reading up on the island where you guys are from, and it's really just 70,000 for the whole island. So not a big area, obviously a smaller place to grow up. Are you guys basically celebrities there now?
I'd say if we go in the grocery store, I think most people are going to recognize us.
But then again, on the island, there's only 3 stores, and they all close at 8 o'clock.
I mean, celebrity is celebrity, Lindsay. It doesn't,
No, I don't know. You said 70,000, but that's for the whole island, maybe.
Yeah.
We're actually on South Whidbey.
Okay.
So it's much, much smaller. Mostly a retirement community. Most of the people are a little bit older. So growing up, there wasn't a lot to do. We had one bowling alley that shut down when we were really, really young. We have a movie theater, and
it was pretty much free traffic kind of town.
We had
That's kind of what I grew up in.
That's where our obsession came from. Growing up, we had one fast food restaurant, and it was a Dairy Queen.
Oh my gosh! There it is. Well, there you go. That explains that. Yeah.
That's why we love it.
It's in our blood.
Is this why your parents had 7 kids? Because they were they need to have some friends. We got to make sure they have a friend group and people to play with. Did you guys even have friends outside of each other?
I think she's serious.
I'm a little serious. It sounds like you're from this tiny little town. Who are these other children?
No, even at tournaments, because, we kind of show up. We, of course, try to do our best on the court, and then we kind of leave and take off and do our own thing. And we're super, super close. I think we would probably consider each other our best friend, but
so what you're saying is
circle kind of tight.
There were other children. You just refused to play with them.
There were some few friends. I still, I just went to my best friend's wedding a couple weekends ago in Portland.
Gotcha.
So I still got my friends from high school, some college. So I'm not saying
Did you say friends or friend?
It's plural.
Okay.
There was an S on the end. We're just making sure. Webby of Eddie and Webby want to know, sorry if you already asked this, but is it true that you're related to Paul Newman?
The lemonade guy?
I don't know. Yeah, who is that? The director?
Oh, the actor, I think.
The lemonade guy or the actor person?
I think isn't he a singer? I thought he was a singer.
I don't know.
I think the
how I am with pop culture, Lauren.
The lemonade guy. I think they're the same person. I think...
I would get. We haven't checked our genealogy in a while, but I don't think.
I also think Webby's probably just trolling you guys, but I appreciate the comment anyway.
So, what was your guys' favorite sport growing up?
Ooh.
My favorite is basketball. I still stay in basketball. I referee college basketball for my other.
Don't worry, we'll get to the refereeing. All right.
Yeah. Calm down, Riley.
Calm down. All right.
Well, basketball is my first love, and it's always been my favorite sport since day one.
How tall are you, Riley?
I'm 6'2".
Yeah, I saw that week dunk on Facebook. So.
I grabbed the rim, Kyle. That was 2.
Dude, I'm 5'8" on a good day with alligator arms, and I can still dunk a tennis ball. Wow. Or not still, back in my heyday.
Competition next time I see you.
No, I'm fat and old now. 33. That's
First
really getting
all,
up there.
I am highly suspicious of that statement on its own. So don't worry, Riley.
We definitely agree with that. We're calling his bluff.
I know, right?
This was 10 years ago.
Okay.
When I'm in the prime of my athletic ability.
Oh man.
Now I'm like Dwayne Wade on my way out.
Oh my gosh.
So this is we wanted to ask you this because you guys are a little bit younger. So you guys are from Seattle. There's no basketball team. So are you guys a Portland fan, an OKC fan, or are you guys a Warriors?
He had the Sonics for a while.
I know you did.
Yeah, that was actually at the very last home game, which was in 2007. Kevin Durant hit a game winner against the Mavericks. I remember like it was yesterday because I miss them so much. But I think Portland is about 2.5 hour drive. So then we would go down probably once a year to catch out a Trailblazer game.
But right now,
playing on Thunder. OKC's no. Can never do it.
No, you're done?
We hate Oklahoma City. We'll never be fans of them.
So who are you guys a fan of now?
Probably Portland.
Portland.
Because they're closest.
I mean, I was a really, really big Laker fan when Kobe was on the team. Now that Kobe's out, so am I.
but they have
I feel you.
They have LeBron James now and AD.
Yeah, so I'm out.
You're
Definitely
out?
out.
Who's a Kobe fan?
Kobe all the way.
You're like, who's that other person? I don't even care.
And also, and
Okay.
the other thing, we'll get going here, but like my other sports question is, would you guys like the new nickname of Legion of Boom in honor of your Seattle Seahawks for your new pickleball name?
Your defense.
But what nickname for who?
For us, I think. Are you talking about for us? A nickname for us?
Yeah. You guys have the new Legion of Boom. You know what I'm talking about, Riley?
Better.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, but let's do better. Let's reach a little bit higher.
We could improve a bit.
Yeah. We need to put our thinking caps on a little bit.
Are you a Seahawks fan, though?
Big Seahawks fan.
Big Seahawks fan?
Yeah.
But Lindsey's not the biggest fan.
No.
No.
Really. I'm not actually, like, out of all the sports, football is probably my least favorite sport to watch, to commentate on, to do anything with. But he likes the Seahawks.
I love the Hawks. Go
Yeah.
Hawks, baby.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Lindsay, you didn't get to answer what was your favorite sport?
Oh,
playing?
definitely tennis. Love tennis. I think it's probably still right up there with my favorite sport. I actually just picked up my tennis racket for the first time in a while.
That's sad.
I was gonna say, or do you guys still get out and
I
like
feel
play
bad for
tennis at
you.
all, or with the family or anything? Or are you kind of just like pickleball all the way now?
No, I don't think so. Like when we do family, we typically do like one family vacation a year, and that's when we bring out the tennis rackets. We were playing baseball when we were in Lake Chelan this summer.
Football,
We
Wiffle
kind of
ball?
just bring out all the sports when the family comes, because then we can really take the happy, vacation and turn it into a little bit of a rivalry.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you guys both played basketball and tennis in college, correct?
Yep.
And then you went both to Seattle and played tennis, correct? And then we're doing.
Correct.
So
Got it.
how did you guys get into basketball reffing? Because that's what I hear you guys are doing now. Is that correct?
What? Why do you keep saying, is that correct? You know it's correct.
Well,
We're telling you about your lives. This is what you do. Explain yourself.
Explain it now. Go.
Yeah, so once I was even in high school, I was reffing some 4th grade, 5th grade tournaments on the weekends just to make some extra cash. And then I went to high school and I reffed high school. The money got better. And then as I got older, I just kind of keep climbing the ranks. And now I ref Division II, Division III, and community college men's basketball. So my goal is to make it to Division I. That's a full-time job, and I absolutely love it.
Didn't you guys ask us how we got into officiating?
Yeah. How did you?
Oh, is there a story? I feel like
there a
there's
story?
a story.
No, well,
Not
Riley
really.
didn't answer your question.
Oh, well, yeah,
I
Riley.
love basketball. I wanted to stay into the sport.
No, well,
That's
okay.
how I got into it. I wanted to make some cash, some easy cash.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Well,
that makes sense. He needed a little walking money.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I got into it because when we were at our community college, for like an extra side hustle, I would scorekeep like the men's league basketball games, and the guy that was in charge of that would come up and be like, you should ref. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. Refs just get yelled at. Everyone hates them. And then finally, I think I was like, well, I'll make like double the money reffing over scorekeeping. So I got into reffing, and then it just kind of went on from there.
So, I mean, you guys both love reffing. It's kind of you have aspirations in basketball reffing to like go on and like keep going higher level. So like if someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, you guys can go ref in like the NBA, WNBA, whatevs, or like you can make a living playing pickleball professionally the rest of your lives. What do you want to do?
Good question. I don't know. Do I answer first?
Not really.
Selkirk is not
honest-
listening.
Gosh, I mean, I think pickleball is a little bit more fun because you don't get booed by hundreds of people in a gym.
This is true. Fair enough.
I think, basketball, it's like a different kind of adrenaline. I think the money is probably, if you're doing it full time, a little bit better, a little bit more consistent.
Mm-hmm. I would probably choose basketball.
It's your first
pickleball's
love.
A close second.
I don't know. I would always want to be a professional athlete over a referee, so I would probably stick with pickleball.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you referee though?
No.
Are you a
No. I'm just saying, if I was in your guys' position, I would want to be a professional athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I think both are really fun. Both of you, both occupations allow you to travel a lot, which we really like.
The good thing about basketball is, too, I mean, it's a winter job. So, I mean, you're reffing from November to March, and then you're just off the rest of the time and have nothing to do and just chill. So that's kind of why I prefer basketball, because I got those 7 months to kind of do whatever I want.
Well, I mean, you don't have to choose then. You can do pickleball and ref. Like, you really don't have to choose.
True. That's kind of what we're doing now, is I'm kind of focusing on basketball in the winter. There was like a tournament in Florida that I missed this past February just because there was a basketball game that I had to attend. But then other than that, pickleball is kind of full go.
So what's your favorite basketball call to call? Is it the charge? Is it the block? What do we got here? A good travel?
Oh.
A tee? Hey, here's my question. Are you a full tee or are you a single tee kind of guy? You know what I'm talking about? You got refs in the NBA that go like this, single finger, and then you got the ones that are going like this. What's your go-to tee call?
Okay. Usually, no, I'm not. That's usually too high school. That's like too formal.
Yeah.
I gotta come in with a little bit of swag, and I'll just go one finger, boom.
You're out.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I mean, I just see.
Otherwise, like a big block charge call.
Yeah.
Near the fourth quarter, or for girls, it's 2 half, or I guess now it's 4 quarters. But I think
Everyone's
probably
on the
like a big block call charge at the end of the game is super fun too.
Yeah,
that's a good tip.
That's awesome. So I kind of brought the reffing up because that's how you guys got into pickleball.
That's it. That's right.
So if you guys want to tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was reffing for a guy named Mark Cook, who is a fellow Selkirk player, and he found out that we played Division I tennis and was like, "You guys should come out and play pickleball. It's super fun. You'll love it. You guys will be really good." And I think we both kind of looked at him like he was crazy, because we were totally tennis, like 100% all the way. And then Mark just kept getting on us, saying we should come out. And finally we did. We went to Pickleball Central in Burien, Seattle area. And we played there with Brian Ashworth, Peter, like those guys for 3-4 hours maybe. And then we ended up signing up for a tournament like a week or 2 later.
Which you guys won.
Into the 5-0 mixed doubles division, kind of not knowing what to expect. And we won. And then I think we were totally hooked from there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so that's a good point, because we were kind of looking through, I guess, like your tournament history, and you guys now definitely are playing like a good solid 2 to 3 tournaments a month, pretty much. Like, it looks like when your schedule allows and stuff. But that first tournament after you guys played, you took like a solid 6 months before you were in another tournament. So were you guys like, hey, we should probably actually like learn how to play this more before we rock some more tournaments? Or did it just kind of work out schedule wise that you weren't available?
Yeah, I think at the end of the summer, it was getting ready to basketball season, and I mean we enjoyed ourselves that one pickleball tournament, but then it was right back to basketball mode, and then I think that's where that 5-month, 6-month break came in, and then I was focused more on basketball. And we were playing a little bit, kind of rec practice wise, but basketball was kind of full go.
Yeah, so it was your love was peaked a little. You got a little bite of the pickleball, but I think you weren't probably like full in yet. So you were kind of like back to real life, doing your thing before you were like, okay, now we have some time. Like, let's do some more of this pickleball stuff.
Yeah, at that point, like basketball was what we did. Like, we committed our lives to reffing basketball. We missed, graduations. We've missed birthday parties, family events to do basketball. And now, since we've come along pickleball, we've now kind of had to split our time a little bit more. It's probably more 50-50, or maybe even a little bit more towards pickleball. Yeah. But yeah, I think times have changed, and now it's definitely probably more pickleball than basketball.
It's funny though, that first tournament, it was a 6-hour drive. I remember it like it was yesterday. The tournament started at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And what do Lindsey and I do? We drive down Friday from Seattle, and we stay in our cars in a casino parking lot.
No joke.
We slept for, I think, maybe like a total of 2-3 hours. And then we're back on the road. And then we ended up, I think, winning like $350. And I was
And
like,
we were so happy.
So happy.
It was like the jackpot.
Well, yeah.
You were officially professional athletes. You got paid.
Yeah, like we remember calling our mom at the time, being like, "You'll never believe what happened," because that's when we also got our first sponsorship. We were approached at the tournament, and we had no idea. We didn't even think that was a thing.
Right.
We actually came to the tournament, and we didn't have any paddles, so we were having to borrow. Like every match we did, we used a different paddle, and we were just switching paddles around. And everyone at the tournament, it was a tournament in Sun River, it was super nice.
Yeah. Didn't know how to keep score. We lost like 5 points every game on our serve. We couldn't figure it out.
And we still honestly messed that up quite a bit. We don't know where we are half the time.
Well, so you guys, you guys were with Paddle Tech for a while before you went to Selkirk. But is Paddle Tech who approached you that first tournament, or did you have like a smaller, where you like right out the gate, Paddle Tech was like, we'll take those guys?
I think it was that first tournament. I think we played that first match the very first day. And I remember the girl, the Paddle Tech lady, she came up to Lindsey and was like on Lindsey. She gave her like 3 paddles to try. And then Lindsey was cruising that rest of the weekend. And then they kind of, since I was the brother, I finally got some recognition. And then they kind of gave us some paddles. Then we got some shirts. And then it kind of just increased from there. But Paddle Tech, we're grateful to start with them.
Sure.
That's awesome.
So when did you guys finally start like figuring out what was kind of going on with pickleball and strategy wise, and like did that take a little while to get out of tennis habits, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still kind of figuring that out a little bit.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like tennis. I mean, we were on a tennis court since before we could walk.
Yeah.
So like that's what we knew how to do. We could step out onto a tennis court. And immediately, before we started the match, we knew our opponent's weaknesses. We knew what we were going to do with our game. We just had the strategy down pat. And now, I think now we're just a little over 2 years into pickleball. So we still feel like we're kind of the newbies, the rookies in the game still, and still trying to figure things out a little bit.
Now we're learning to dink more than 5 times in a rally, though. So we will dink a little longer than
you guys dink forever.
We didn't know what dinking was for about the first year and a half.
Third shot drop, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like probably the first time I ever like saw or even heard of you guys was at the 2018 U.S. Open. You guys are actually playing a barn burner. It was Scott Stone and Bobby Fumi. Adam Stone, sorry, and Bobby Fumi. You guys are playing, and there was a ton of people. It was in the backcourts in the 40s, and I think you guys won like 16-14. I just remember that, and that's when I first saw you guys. Is that when you guys kind of finally at that U.S. Open, like you guys are like, we kind of start feeling like you arrived, or like? Yeah,
that was our very first tournament where we went, out of the West Coast. So we actually went Florida. That was a far travel for us, and I think we got 9th place in the Open division. Had a few solid good wins there, like you mentioned. And then we really loved it. We were liking the atmosphere. Everyone was watching and, clapping, cheering. After that tournament, we were like, okay, let's take this to the next notch and let's see if we can make a name for ourselves.
I mean, with your guys' sports background, you got to, like, thrive in the environment of, like, having people watching, like the pressure of playing, the everything. Like for me, like I don't play a lot of tournaments because I do not handle tournament pressure well. I'm like cool, wreck or whatever, and then like I'm playing a tournament and I'm like shaking and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta go to the bathroom 3 times before we start. My stomach's in knots. Like I just am not good under like tournament pressure. But I played sports all growing up, but I feel like as an adult, most adults don't deal with a lot of sports scenarios anymore because once you age out of college, you're not playing a lot of sports, you're not doing a lot of stuff. So I feel like pickleball kind of allows everybody at every age to be back in kind of that like pressure tournament situation, which I do not handle well, but like you guys must like thrive under that.
Yeah, no, like honestly, we love pickleball because of the pressure situations. We love being under pressure. We like the big crowds. We like, being 10, 10-11 on match point. We really, really, really like the competitiveness. We grew up in a household where losing was 100% never okay, and it's still kind of that way. And that's, I think, kind of comes back to reffing too, in that there's 99% of the people in the world would never even consider reffing college basketball because of the booze. And every time you blow a whistle, you have, hundreds of eyes on you, and it's a ton of pressure, and you get yelled at, and you get screamed at, and you get death threats in the parking lot, and all this different stuff. And I think kind of just all that combined has helped us in the pickleball game, and kind of thriving under the pressure and enjoying those really close matches, and kind of soaking it all in.
Yeah, I really think that's what separates a lot of players, is being able to play your best under like the biggest moments. And some people have that and some people don't. And like just growing up in the type of environment and in all the sports you guys played in college, and having to not eat on a 3-hour ride home from your dad probably helped that along a lot. So like I totally understand what you guys are saying with that.
We have Leslie Shaughnessy. She said, do you guys ever get distracted during tournament games?
Ooh, distracted.
I don't think so.
I don't know. There's always, for a tournament, there's always something on the line. There's always something to play for. So I don't think we would ever. I mean, sometimes we're looking in the stands to see if particular fans are watching us, but I think we're pretty locked in on the moment, the job at hand. So we're kind of focused on that match at a time.
When there's money on the line, it's really, really hard for Riley and I to become unfocused. Money drives us, win it, and unless a hot air balloon went by during a match, I don't think we become distracted at all.
Man, I know one thing I want to talk to you about too, Lindsey, is I know you guys, I feel like you guys are really good about taking strategic timeouts when kind of things are, maybe getting a little crazy or going the wrong way. And I know we're freezing video. Hang on, work it out. We can do it. Don't touch anything. Come on, computer. No, spinning death wheel.
Dang it.
All right, we were doing so good. Hang on.
Okay.
We might still be okay. Work it out, computer. Work it out. Don't touch anything. We're probably